All right, let's get into it. Repco Bathurst 1000. We've got the drivers' briefing pending, so we're going to keep our formalities a bit short today. I'm going to dive straight into it. Thursday action's done, and well done to the co-drivers who have qualified you into the press conference today, starting with Scott Pye, who's parked it at the top today. David Russell doing a wonderful job, as always, aboard whatever he gets to drive here at Bathurst, and Tony D'Alberto, plenty of experience helping get the Shell V-Power car up to the top three today. Scott, I'm going to start with the co-drivers today because you've all done a wonderful job in very tricky conditions. Just how hard was it out there in the dry and the wet and the dry, and then sometimes it's a bit of both on a lap? How just on your edge of your seat and up on your toes do you have to be?
Yeah, this place is when it rains on the slick tyre, even just a little drizzle, the amount of, I don't know if it's tar covering the cracks, but it just is like ice immediately. So even on the slick tyre, you get a bit of drizzle on the rain, immediately bail out of it. And I've looked pretty average on a Thursday before, so I didn't want to repeat history. So I was pretty cautious out there. But when it rained, it may be wet later in the weekend, but we decided the car and the package we got seems really quite competitive. So didn't want to get it too dirty and run it later in the session. But for sure, when we rolled out of the lane, it was fast immediately. But yeah, this place bites hard, especially with the conditions they were. It was dry down the bottom. Coming out of the tree one lap, there was just a sheet of water that come down the window, and going into the grate on slicks, it's an uneasy feeling. But in the race, obviously, you don't have the luxury of bailing out. But today, it's definitely better to err on the side of caution.
Well done today. Good driving all round, I think. I'll take it over to Dave, who's put it into second today. I'm noticing a theme from the co-drivers here, all very experienced. I feel like the theme at the bend was the youth rises up, but is the guys who have the laps and the experience fighting back this weekend? Is that the case today?
You saying we're old or what?
Experience, Tony.
Speak for yourself, Chad.
I think it's probably with the weather coming as well. You know, all the engineers were looking, going, mate, we've got 3 laps to get a read on the car and have a feel to lean on a little bit. And all of us were underdone on how many laps we were getting, unless you did some in practice one. So it was just a matter of dialing in a little bit and going, oh yeah, it all feels good, and seeing what the car's, having, I wouldn't call it a performance run by any stretch, because I'm sure everyone had a reasonable amount of fuel on and race cambers and all that. So, but yeah, really good to roll out and be comfortable in the car without coming back with a list this long about things that it's doing. So it's nice. Is
today, with the changeable conditions, a good day to be driving in different categories and just getting more track time as well?
Yeah, I think in the wet, like I had quali for Porsche, and certainly when we went out then, we were able to throw the wet on and then get up to speed and then get a bit of a read on the car, and then start some dialogue with the engineer saying, well, maybe we should. I'm not happy about what the car's doing here. Can we make some changes so I can give you some feedback on it? So it was nice to be able to get some changes. Depending on what happens, obviously on Sunday, there's weather forecast, so it's nice to have some input to that to see what we can do to make the car faster if it rains.
Well driven today, mate. Congratulations on a good, solid Thursday innings. Tony, you spent more time hanging in the garage than on the racetrack today, which is never what I imagine a race car driver wants to do. Is it frustrating when you have a day like today, or do you still feel like, all right, I did my job?
Yeah, I mean, these days you really need to get as many laps as you can. So with these changeable conditions, it is a little bit frustrating. But to be honest, I'd rather be in the garage with a nice, pretty, straight car than out on the track and risking it. So we decided not to go out in the rain there at the end and take that punt, I guess. But pretty happy with the car so far. We've rolled out fairly strong and pretty happy with the direction we're going.
All right, I'm going to open it straight up to the room here since time is limited today.
Just one for Will, mate. Can you talk us through the ankle? What have you done?
I was playing touch footy actually, and thought I could play, and obviously can't. So I rolled my ankle, and just put in a boot for a week and do this race meeting, and it'll be right. It's my left foot, so it's all good.
Is that not impacting your driving at all?
No, it's all good. Yep.
You just got to work on your left foot step?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got to work on the left foot step a little bit. I thought I was Reece Walsh for a second, and I just wasn't. So, yeah.
I did the same thing at the Masters Games a few years ago. Yeah, a week before Bathurst. Yeah. I just roll and pop some.
To Tony, 10th run here, I think, with DJR.
Yep.
Be cool to get a good result on the decade
Calling
anniversary.
me old again.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you must be doing something right if you've
My
done 10
first year
times.
with Scotty here.
Yeah.
Hey?
My first year
Guys,
with Scotty.
Davo's sitting down the end here. Don't be rude.
Hey, what's going on?
Anyway, say that again.
10th time, decade anniversary, I guess, with DJR. Cool to hopefully, bring that up, but also get something from it, hopefully.
Oh, man, that'd be a dream if we could be on the podium for my 10th race with DJR, or 10th year with DJR. Absolute privilege to drive for Dick Johnson, and obviously along the way with Roger Penske as well. So I've been there through the highs and lows and the rebuild phases and all that sort of stuff, and been teammates with some great drivers like Scotty and Fabs and Anton and now Will. So somehow I've survived. I'm not sure how, but it would be a dream to stay on the podium for my 10th anniversary.
And to you and to Davo, I mean, a lot went into the prep for this event, the chassis change, and I think getting, Josh onto the prep of the car and all that sort of stuff. Does it feel out of the gate like, a bit more like you wanted it to?
You got to answer this, bro.
Huh? You're talking well,
Yes.
mate.
Yes.
You're the man of the moment. Huge shout out to the team. Obviously, we leave no stone unturned as a team to get both cars competitive and up the front. I think we're showing really good signs as a team. So obviously, from my side of things, it hasn't quite been where it needs to be. We've shown form certainly earlier in the year, so it's just a logical decision to just change up a few things, see if we can, answer a few questions we've got. So we know our potential's strong. At the first half of the year, the car really felt strong at many of those early events. So we've gone missing a bit, but we know we're way better than that. So I just got to thank the team for going to a huge effort. And hopefully, it's very early days. Hopefully it's a sign for a good few days ahead for us.
Davo, obviously it's a very different team, DJR, to the one that arrived here 12 months ago with Brodie, Todd, George, all the Erebus or ex-Erebus staff coming into the team. How different is the vibe among the team 12 months on, coming in with such a great combination and one that's won Bathurst last year?
Yeah. I mean, it's the story of the year, but obviously the reigning champs. The story of the year is the way they operate is very different. So, I mean, I think it was the end of an era. Probably the end of last year, we lost, we farewelled some amazing people, but it's been very invigorating this year. The whole energy around the team, the bad days hurt more. The level of requirement that we're pushing for is very high. So it's exciting to be a part of that. And you certainly, the way Brodie and George and Tom operate, it's obviously very interesting from my point of view to learn what they did here and what made them so successful in the past. And I think bit by bit that's starting to filter through. So it's a good energy at our team. We've got a lot more to come for sure. But I think the signs are strong.
Jimmy, your last start at Bathurst with Premier, and you've had some great speed here over the past few years. How determined are you to turn that into a big result this weekend?
Yeah, just as determined as any time I come to Bathurst, I suppose. But yeah, teaming up with D-Russ again's awesome. Did a great job last year, so to be working alongside him and just goes to show in that session how quality driver he is. So as I said, looking forward to this race just as much as any other year. To get a solid result with Premier is really what we're aiming for.
Scott, safety car rules have changed for this weekend. I know it's something that you've been very vocal about in the recent past. Yep. Are you happy with the changes?
Yeah, definitely, and credit to Supercars because it takes big balls to make decisions like this during the season as things are going on, because there's obviously always going to be feedback from the fans, positive and negative, and they obviously have to be prepared for that. But I think it's great they made a change, and especially coming to a race like this, we know how important this race is. So I think it is good. There's still a bit of a grey area around how much speed we actually need to lose under the double wave yellow and also the single waved. So we've got drivers briefing after this. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions asked. But ultimately, I think, the Ben showed braking to a line. If there was around here, I said on my podcast, if there was 10 cars and you brake to a line at the top of the mountain where it's blind, 10 cars back, you'll have a massive shunt. So had to be changed. It has been. We'll just see how we understand it when we're actually doing it, how much we actually give up without penalising yourself, because it is still a competition. You never want to say you're racing to pit entry, but you put race helmets on and a lot of investment behind these races, and we need to never lose more than necessary. But obviously safety is a huge factor, and as drivers we need to have some kind of number or expectation of what we need to give up so that we're not disadvantaging ourselves or advantaging someone else. But we'll see. I'm sure this driver's briefing is going to go forever.
Yes, on that topic, I think your 6 are needed there right now.
Cool.
So
cool.
thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
guys. And